Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Divine Platform. This is yours truly, the Literati, and all I do here is for the edification of the Most High and for the restoration of His kingdom. And yes, I can do all these things through Christ, which strengthens me, like it says in Philippians 4:13. And it is my prayer that the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart are acceptable to you, God, my strength and Redeemer. That's Psalms 19:14. Thank you for tuning in to this channel. Please subscribe if you haven't done so, and thank you to the returning viewers and subscribers. Thank you very much. So, as you can clearly see on the thumbnail and the title, what I will be discussing in this 4-part series, it says part 1 of 3, but it's 4 parts. The last part is kind of an extra. It kind of starts to get away from the main theme of the title, as you can see, the Prince of Wales. I will be connecting the dots and revealing to us who is who and exposing their guises. Remember, all is truth. There can only be truth. All else, everything else is a distraction. Do not be distracted. This distraction has been existing since time immemorial. And we know there's nothing new under the sun. So really what I'm doing is just bringing out, exposing this distraction. Ecclesiastes 1:9 says, "The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun." Okay? So this distraction hides in plain sight, and we have really come to accept and adopt it as part of our everyday lives. We absolutely do not even recognize it. Okay? And this distraction is witchcraft, even if unwittingly. Okay, anything that's not of God is witchcraft, period. But this distraction is the witchcraft. It's the craft that distracts us from God. Remember to turn your eyes to the things of heaven and not the things of this earth. Like it says in Colossians 3:2, "Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth." Okay? Do not be distracted by things on the earth. So the distraction hides in plain sight, and we have come to accept it. Like I said, we don't even recognize it. It's just everywhere. So this video is based on a word that was given to me by the Lord. It was literally a single word, and the word is Wales. Okay, and all this information was given to me by the Holy Spirit. The Prince of Wales is the Prince of Wales. Okay, so this part 1 is just an introduction, and this is the scripture that we need to focus on for this entire presentation. Ezekiel 26:16, which says, "Then all the princes of the sea shall come down from their thrones and lay away their robes and put off their broidered garments. They shall clothe themselves with trembling. They shall sit upon the ground and shall tremble at every moment and be astonished at thee." Okay, we're getting into the presentation, so please get a pen and paper. You might need to watch this over again. I know I try to simplify it as much as I can, so I'm also going to rush through it. Otherwise, this would be like a 10-part series. Okay, so Ezekiel 26:16, "Princes of the sea, thrones, robes, broidered garments." The word that was given to me by God was Wales. And like I've said, how a word sounds is more important than how it's written. Okay, that spelling changing up, that fallen angel technology is what's getting us confused and hemmed up. Okay, so the word is Wales. Okay, let's look at the robes and broidered garments and thrones. Okay, all this, the robes, the broidered garments. Where else do we see that? They have their robes and their broidered garments. Okay, the Pope's seat is a throne. Okay, so we see a throne there. Okay, county seats, country seats, presidential seats are all quasi-thrones. They're all thrones, lesser thrones of part of that kingdom, that dark kingdom. Okay, so those who sit on these thrones are usually of the brotherhood. Basically, if you're not of the brotherhood, you cannot sit on that throne. They will take you out. And I think, like I said, maybe almost a year ago, I think they've pretty much taken everybody out because we are getting to the end of this charade, this shenanigans. So I think now everybody is part of the brotherhood in every country. And, countries are political subdivisions. That's what they use to control you and to steal your inheritance, your land. Okay. Thrones, robes, and broidered garments. Here you can see the broidered garments. All this embroidery here. All this is embroidery. And this is the throne. They shall come down from their thrones, like it says in Ezekiel 26:16. So who is the Prince of Wales? Okay, the Prince of Wales is a title and an office. And at this present moment, occupying that office is William. So prior to that, of course, it was his father Charles, who's the king right now. So this presentation is based on language and connecting the dots. I will show you by tapping into a corollary and an ancestry, who is claiming to be, who those claiming the royal seat really are. And as I've always said on this channel, language is key to understanding what is going on. So Wales, W-A-L-E-S, and Wales, W-H-A-L-E-S. That's the sea creature are homonyms or cognates. And that's very significant because, again, like I've said, the vibration is in the spoken word, not in the written word. So always the spoken word is more superior to the written word. This even goes for contracts. If I sign a contract, I can literally annul it just by what I say. That carries more weight. Okay? Okay, we have an ORCA, who's the Prince of Wales. So what's an ORCA? It's the biggest whale and is considered the Prince of Wales because of its size and its killing habit. It is actually a killer whale. And as I go through this presentation, we will see the relationship between the marine kingdom and those illegitimately in power. Here in 1977, there was a movie. This is a poster of that movie. The name ORCA, the killer whale. The killer whale is one of the most intelligent creatures in the universe. Incredibly, he is the only animal other than man who kills for revenge. He has one mate, and if she is harmed by man, he will hunt down that person with a relentless, terrible vengeance across seas, across time, and across obstacles. So these movie descriptions will be expounded on, and they are very important for us to understand and assimilate. It's not just fiction, it's fact. And it's also a ritual. Okay? How we take in these movies without rebuking, rejecting, condemning ensures that their plans succeed. Okay. So if William is the Prince of Wales and ORCA is the Prince of Wales. Now, if you remember math, would that be algebra, I think? So is William an ORCA? So are these related? Are these correlated? Are these corollaries? I suppose we shall see. And you'll be able to come to your own conclusion, of course, based on the facts I present, the preponderance of evidence, and your own knowledge. But most importantly, tap into that spiritual understanding. Open your inner eyes. Okay? So, in the following few screens, we'll just talk much about just this ORCA. It's just the introduction. So with their distinct pigmentation, adult orcas are seldom confused with any other species. Basically, if you see an orca, you definitely know that it is an orca that you have seen, and you cannot confuse this with any other animal. It's the only animal that looks this way. Okay? So these adult orcas, they're mostly black, but with sharply bordered white areas. Okay? These are the Oreos, black on the outside and white in the inside. Black on the outside, white on the inside. These are the ones that somebody who's trying to run for president was referring to when he said they're taking the black jobs. Okay, this is exactly what he was talking about. But we are usually all in our feelings and we don't have sufficient understanding of what's really going on, so we react when we should not even be paying attention, you know? I could go more into that, but I don't want to get too distracted. So these are creatures of habit, both literally and figuratively. So a rob is a habit too, you know. They tend to engage in activities that reflect directly who they are with their distinct pigmentation. They're mostly black, again, but with sharply bordered white areas. And here with their broidered or embroidered garments. They cannot escape from this primordial DNA, whether they have to play it out in whatever they do. Okay. So the ORCA, that's the ORCA, known as or seen as ORCA or killer whale, is a toothed whale that is the largest member of the oceanic dolphin family. I know we normally say this word as oceanic, which is correct, but in this presentation, I want you to think of all the possible pronunciations of that word. So we'll say oceanic dolphin family. It is a killer whale. Okay, just like it says in John 8:44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar, and the father of it. A murderer is a killer. Okay? For centuries, orcas have instilled fear in the hearts of mankind. In all their ferociousness, they've been dubbed wolves of the sea. Pay attention to that word wolf, because we'll see it later. They've been dubbed wolves of the sea, whale killers. They kill other whales. Killing demons, that's the other name. So they've been dubbed wolves of the sea, whale killers, killing demons, and fish tigers, just to name a few. Their scientific name, Orcinus orca, comes from the mythical Orcas, or Orsas, the Roman god of death and the underworld, who was also known as a punisher. Okay, their scientific name comes from this. Okay, so this image is a fresco of Odysseus and the Cyclops in the tomb of Orcus. Okay, look, Odysseus, these are the same person, different names, and this is how we lose them. And we think they're talking about different people. So the Greek I think the Greek referred to him as Odysseus or Ulysses, and then the Romans referred to him as ORCAs or the Cyclops. They just don't make up these images. They call it myth, but it's based on fact, because you cannot create something out of nothing. That is a basic fact of life. They cannot, okay? So these myths are based on creatures that existed at that time, and that we may, and this is just their morphology. With time, they change their names, okay? So Orcus, the killer whale, is a Roman god of death and underworld. He's also referred to as Cyclops. That sounds like cyclone, which is also a hurricane. So like cyclone, hurricane, the same thing. Odysseus, Cyclops, Orcus. So Orcus is Cyclops. Changing names is just to throw you off the scent. But I hope you're starting to see the picture of what we are beset with. Okay, so this is a 1st century AD head of a Cyclops from the Roman Colosseum. Pay attention to the third eye, okay? So according to a Hellenistic astral myth, the Cyclops were the builders of the first altar. So the first altar ever was built by these people. So according to the myth, the Cyclops built an altar upon which Zeus and the other gods swore alliance before their war with the Titans. After their victory, the gods placed the altar in the sky in commemoration, and thus began the practice, according to the myth, of men swearing oaths upon altars as a guarantee of their good faith. Does this sound like Freemasonry, where people swear oaths? They're sworn to secrecy, just about oath swearing and oath swearing, But also, I want us to note the third eye practice, which is most common in certain communities, especially in certain communities. That's a demonic practice. So this first witchcraft satanic altar is still running to date until Christ comes back and destroys all this. It's still running to date. There's absolutely nothing new under the sun, like we just saw. Okay, let's get back to this. So the genus name Ursinus means of the kingdom of the dead, or belonging to Orcus, like I just showed you. So where are these entities from? Where are we right now? The dead are walking and living among us. This is a literal statement. When we have shows like The Walking Dead, these are literal. They might play them out differently, but it's based on a fact, like I've just told you. It has to be existing already for them to play it out, okay? We have the dead living among us right now as we speak. And they gain their life by using witchcraft to switch destinies, to pull on the energy of the living, okay? And these altars, that's why you have zombies, okay? And they're all over and around us. And as luck would have it, when God gives me this word, He also gives me that experience in my life. I am literally working with an entity right now, whom I know is a living dead. It is very draining. It's a vampiric relationship. It's I'll talk about that in a different video. Let me get back to this here. So the orca, Ursinus orca, or killer whale, is a toothed whale that is the largest member of the oceanic dolphin family. It is the only extant species in the genus Ursinus. Extant is opposite of extinct. Okay, so it's a killer whale, so it probably killed all the others in that species. Okay. Here, Let's look at the power of language again. I want you to pay attention to largest member of the oceanic dolphin family, Orcinus, 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 Oceanus. So in Greek mythology, Oceanus, you can see Oceanus or Oceanus, Oceanus. So there's different pronunciations. By the way, Keanu, you know, that guy who works in the movies. So Oceanus was a Titan, son of Uranus and Gaia, the husband of his sister, the Titan Thetis, and the father of the river gods and the Oceanids. These are the nymphs, as well as being the great river which encircled the entire world. So this great river circles the entire world. So where are we living right now? What's going on right now? Okay. So whales are found all over the world. I mean, they, as you can see, Oceanus circles the entire world. It tells us, so they have the world contained. And here the word oceanic means not only of the ocean, but of this family. Orca is the largest family of the family Oceanus. And here is, this is their lineage we are tracing to present day. And by the way, in my native language, which is Luya, Hosiena literally is to bewitch, or Hoshiena is to bewitch somebody. It's so like if I say Yasienanga, or it's like giving somebody the evil eye. That is Hosiena. And it would also mean to step on something, like if you see a reptile, you're supposed to step on it to kill it. Hosiena. Hosiena. They give you an evil eye. Okay. So even in my native language, it's still pointing to the same fact. One thing I've always said is that truth is consistent no matter which way you come from it. From the micro, from the macro, from the scientific, from the cultural, from the religious, from the mathematical, it should be consistent. Okay, so the orca, Orcinus orca, again, back to the names, the Orcinus is the Orsini family. Is it possible that this is the ancestry of the Orsinis, or is it just a coincidence? See, switching up the words, the pronunciations, the spelling is meant to create confusion, but it's obviously not working anymore. Is it? It's not. So it is said that the ruling family is the Orsinis. That's the family ruling the entire world. And when people say this, you know, I try to understand what do they mean by that? Who are these? But this is how it is them. Okay, I am showing you how they're the Orsinis, what it means when people say, oh, the Orsinis is the ruling family. They're behind everything. This is exactly what it means. Okay, orcas are recognized by their black and white patterned body. This distinct black and white pattern with sharp lines. So what else is recognized by distinct black and white pattern, which involves swearing oaths? This, which was started by the Roman god of death, Orcus or Cyclops. Can you guess? Yep, you're right if you guess the Freemason black and white. And you know, this is another thing I've wondered, why would they come up with black and white? Why not green and yellow or any other color, you know? And you know, you ask God these questions and he will answer you. If you sincerely seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all things will be added unto you. This is how he has shown me this. This is where it begins with the orcas, the killer whale. Okay? So this is that eye, the Cyclops eye. And this coffin here denotes the god of death and the underworld, especially by its placement here beneath. I mean, why is it not here or there? So it's just basically what I've already shown, okay? And what I also want you to note is that the Freemasons are wearing the broidered regalia. This is broidery, okay? And also the black and white tuxedo suits. Why aren't they wearing gray and blue? Why not something else, you know? These are the princes of the sea that shall be brought down, like it says in Ezekiel 26:12. These are the people who run governments all the way from principalities to municipalities and even precincts, like your police precincts, you know. So a municipality is the smallest unit of government, while a principality is the largest. Let's see them again in this introduction. Same alliance, different order. This is broidery. These are robes. Okay. And I hope by now we have disabused ourselves of the fantasy that melanated people do not do these kinds of stuff, because they indeed are the progenitors of this stuff, while those with less melanin are their tools. Okay, we must be very discerning. So Cyclops is ORCA's. The all-seeing eye on the dollar is the Cyclops eye. It's the ORCA's eye, the god of death, as we saw earlier. It's all Freemasonic, of course. And this is why people say that money is of the marine kingdom. It is a literal statement, and this is how and why. Okay? Because all this originates from ORCA, which is a killer whale from the deep sea. And although this video is not about Freemasonry, but it is so intertwined and tied into it that I cannot escape talking about it. I can't avoid it. And in connecting the dots, what we'll even see later is about the pyramids and how it all connects to this, okay? But just here, so does the compass and the square represent the pyramid? Is the compass and square a 1D representation of the pyramid? Who built the pyramids? Was the building of the pyramids an imitation of divinely orchestrated structures? We know that all the devil can do is mock and mimic. So were they mimic already existing blueprints? Was Masonry a divine order that was hijacked and perverted by the evil one? Are all people who join Freemasons familiar with exactly what they're getting into? A lot of questions to be answered, but I'll focus mainly on the ORCA, who that entity is, and how once we learn who that entity is, we can clearly see how it moves around, what it does, and this is all in plain sight. We just need to connect the dots to see it, okay? Well, that's it for part one. In part two, we will look at the characteristics of the ORCA and how they're played out every day and have been for a long time, okay? Thank you very much for watching. Questions, comments, suggestions are always welcome. If this resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe. We must reach as many people as possible. Stay tuned for part two, and remember, all is truth. There can only be truth. Everything else is a distraction like this. What they're doing, do not be distracted. Thank you.